What's up, guys? This is Corey. Welcome to the show for the ones ready to break the cycle of fear-based mentality and embrace the extraordinary journey of choosing faith over fear. What's up? Welcome back, and welcome for the first time if it's your first time. Um, so I literally just deleted all my files. I don't know how. They weren't in my trash can. I don't know where they went. They just disappeared. So kind of starting all over. Again. It's all good though. For the most part, I had a bulk of the files and stuff scattered in other places, but the files for the show got deleted. So that sucks, but it's all right. So, because now I just redid all my folders and now they're a little bit more organized. So maybe that's why it happened. But anyway, today I'm going to talk about unlocking success, discovering the path, your path, by defining your non desires. And this is something that I've kind of critiqued over the last few years. And it's really because it's kind of a concept that I not really developed, but was kind of like forced into just because of lifestyle. And it's knowing what you want to be by knowing what you don't want to be. It sounds kind of counterintuitive, but in your journey towards success or professionalism, whatever it is you're doing, the clarity or of purpose and direction is very paramount. To chart a course towards your goals, it's very essential for you to not only identify what you want to aspire and achieve, but also understand what you don't want to. So, like, contrary to popular belief and wisdom, like knowing what you don't want can be just as beneficial and illuminating to you personally as knowing what you do want. Again, sounds kind of counterintuitive. I'm framing it as like it's called negative visioning. So it might sound you don't want to think about negative things, but it's a concept in clarifying your path. Like by identifying things, situations, outcomes you want to avoid, you're effectively eliminating detours and distractions. So it helps you streamline your efforts, focus your energies, and pave a direct road to success. I have had so many different types of jobs, from my very first job as a pizza delivery boy to being a fire captain. I've done everything in between. I've worked construction. I've done underground cable. I worked in casinos, front of house. I worked in casinos, back of house. I've done corporate marketing. I've done consulting. Uh, I've literally volunteered to clean bathrooms at one point when I was working at the Hard Rock because I was working at the pool as security guard. Then I got brought in to the front of house, which is cabana attendant. So, and then in between one of the summers, I volunteered and ended up being a server in one of the restaurants because they were like, well, I mean, since you volunteered to clean bathrooms, why not serve people food? And I was like, oh, that's a weird lateral move, but sure, I'll do that. And I worked at LTO in the Hard Rock. It's now Culinary Dropout, and I think it's no, it's not. It's fuck. What is it now? It's that because it's not even Hard Rock anymore. It's the Virgin. Oh, hi. No, I don't know. Whatever it is, but I worked there. So and getting my path at least to the marketing point, because at some point that's mainly what I wanted to do. Um, but and I started that because some of my buddies were like, "Hey, go back to school with your GI Bill." And I went back to school and I was going to do study criminal justice, and then I started taking all my classes and realized like by the time I graduate, I'm gonna be close to 30, and I don't know if I want to, be taking orders from some 22-year-old kid who's been a police officer his entire life, and me be 30 something taking orders for him. It's kind of an ego thing, but I've since grown out of that because I ended up in the fire service where, again, that could have potentially happened. But in the professional realm, so here's the first thing is unfulfilling professions, breaking free from mediocrity. Me and my wife, we have a saying about mediocrity, and I fuck it, I'll say it: mediocrity for pussies. That's what we say. So in the professional realm, recognizing what you don't want can be a catalyst for momental growth. If you're trapped in a job that drains you of your passion and stifles your potential, consider what aspects of it you despise, right? Give you the work environment, lack of creative expression, limited opportunities, can't climb the ladder. Like pinpointing these things instead of just saying I hate the job, like specifically what do you not like about the job, right? Most of the time it's management, right? So what do you do about that? One, if you want to stay in that career field, you gain the education in order for you to be the person that you would rather be led by. So if you don't like your manager but you love your job, get the skills, acquire the skills, the knowledge, the education, if need be, or certifications in order to be the manager. And if you can't be the manager at that specific job, then move over laterally, and either start at the bottom somewhere else in a different environment, or go to another business because you already have experience in this field, but now you have the certifications to apply for the management position, then you do that. And when you're stuck in a job that you hate, you kind of got to take a step back and kind of give gratitude, one, to at least have a job. In this economy, there's a lot of jobs out there, and there's not a lot of people wanting to do them. So um, the work environment's probably a little bit better than it was when the tables were turned, when there was not a lot of jobs but a lot of workers. So the workplace kind of has to treat their employees a certain way in order to maintain the status quo. But regardless, when you're stuck in that type of work environment, again, one, you have to be grateful. I was grateful for every shitty job that I had. The worst job that I ever had was construction. I fucking hate breaking my back for. It's just a construction is just a monster of its own. Especially when you're apprentice in the apprenticeship program, all the journeymen are pretty much assholes to you. You're just a gopher, and on top of working, 40 to 50 hours a week, you also have to go to school on the weekends, in order to learn your trade. Granted, when you get there and you journey out, yes, the money is definitely worth it. And it's kind of like it's not really a brotherhood, but it's kind of, I, I have my brother, several friends are in unions, and they love it. The trade work, it works for them. I just, again, I was young, probably an ego thing. Um, just, I don't know. I don't like the hazing process. That's just mostly what I didn't like about it. And, digging ditches fucking sucks. But I can say that because I dug ditches for 4 fucking years. So, but what did I do? I got an education. I got a different job from 2007 to actually it was 2006 to 2010. I worked for various construction companies digging ditches. In 2010 came around, I started working in security. Another job I hated only because I was working at night. For a while going there, I was going back to school to get my degree, which started out criminal justice, ended up marketing. And then I started working corporate marketing. And then, at that point you start at the bottom of the barrel. My first job was a marketing coordinator, at 30 something years old. There's kids coming out of college at 21, 22 years old, and they're coordinators, and I'm 30 something years old as a coordinator. But it's fine, right? Because that's the path that I took. But what I did is I kept getting educated, I kept getting certifications, and I kept, if I couldn't move up in that position, then I went somewhere else. And it got to the point where I was a senior digital marketing manager for one of the largest hospitality groups in the world. And I did that because I knew I wanted to be an important piece in someone's business. I wanted to have my own business, but in order for me to learn how to run a business, you don't learn how to run a business at school. You learn the fundamentals that'll get you into the business, and then you learn how to run a business when you're in the business. Same can be said for relationships. It's not just about your work life, even though that's a big part of it. Oh, sorry, but also the types of relationships that you do and do not want. I spent several years of my 20s married to the wrong people. And it's just I was young, dumb, wanted to be in love, and I loved them all. And but now I know that was just me, figuring out who I was. At one point I didn't want to let him go, even though it was a terrible relationship, but you want to try and do the right thing, and it just doesn't work. But I spent all those years, you know, floating through, figuring out what kind of person I wanted to be myself, and also what kind of person I wanted to be with. And, it sucks that, you leave this wake of, people who could or could not have been, a good match. And same for them, like, um, because everyone gets stuck, everyone gets stuck, and it is what it is, man. But, and it's not just like, romantic relationships. That's friends too, man. I've definitely walked away from a lot of friends, because I was trying to do something different. You get to the point where it's not fun to party anymore. It's not fun to, you know, do stupid stuff. And, going out to the bar and looking for a fight when you're 30 something years old is like, it's kind of fucking childish, and it's just dumb. But I did it enough to know that Jesus Christ, this is dumb. I need to figure my shit out. That was I I'm telling you, 2016, when I turned, how old was I in 2016? 31. I was like, fuck, dude. I'm like in my 30s. Let's fucking figure this shit out, man. Let's start to do something different. I have this, I started working in when I was 16, so I had 15 years of work experience that I knew I didn't want to do. I started dating in my sophomore year. So what are you 16 years old? So, again, I had 15 years of relationship experience to know what kind of person that I wanted to be with. So it's just, you have to take those. There's no losses. There's only lessons. And it doesn't matter if it's a good lesson or if it's a bad lesson. They're all lessons. But what you have to do is you have to take the lesson out of it. You hate your fucking job. The lesson is get the education to get a better job, get the certifications that you need, or get a different job. So many people are just stuck because they're comfortable. They're able to pay bills, put gas in the car, and put food on the table, and they don't want to do anything more than that because everything outside of their professional life is more important. And that's one part of your life that you actually have to, like, you have to invest a little bit more in it, because it is a third of your day. 8 hours. That's a third of your day for however many years until you retire. So, but also, um, it's life habits too, lifestyle habits. So you got your professional stuff, you got your personal stuff, and you have your lifestyle, your personal lifestyle habits. You know, it's very, very, very easy to be sedentary, to be unhealthy, to have super excessive stress. That's like baseline normal for everyone in this country. We are 70% overweight and or obese in this country. And it's it's not fair to yourself, and if you have loved ones, it's not fair to them for you to just destroy yourself mentally, physically, and emotionally. It's really not. And it's an excuse. And I made a one of my first personal training um, coach posts that I made was three C's. It was comfort, convenience, and carbohydrates. So people get comfortable living in a mediocre lifestyle, and they're so addicted to the convenience of doing things that, you know, don't want to put them outside of their little comfort zone. And then they overconsume on carbohydrates, which makes them fat. So you put those three things together and you have a recipe for an unhealthy lifestyle. And for me, your lifestyle pours over into your professional and your personal lives. That's why I I just became a personal training coach, is because once you gain control of your personal lifestyle, you're able to do and make better judgments about your professional and about your personal life. Ugh. And knowing your non desires provides you with a clear understanding of who you are and what you stand for. That kind of self awareness boosts your confidence and resilience, enabling you to navigate challenges with grace and determination. Again, I'll always reference it. That time that I spent alone in Alaska was very healing for me. I gained some clarity. I knew I didn't ever want to go fishing again because it's it's just not me. That's just not who I am. And maybe if I was with different people, it would have been a different experience. But the I don't want to get into it, but just it wasn't pleasurable. Like it just wasn't. The actual doing the fishing was fun, but it's everything in between the fishing that just wasn't fun because just the people. It was just the people, really, really. So, but I have a friend who is a lifelong fisherman, and if he ever asked me to go on a boat with him, I'd for sure go on a boat with him because he's a freaking rad dude. So, you know who I'm talking to. If you're listening to this, hit me up. I'll go fishing with you anytime. Um, but once you recognize your non-desires, right, you can translate them into well-defined goals. It's not just what do I want to be? It's like I have this whole list of things that I don't want to be. So now that I have these all checked off, there's a very limited amount of things that I know that I want to pursue. So it gives you a roadmap to follow, ensuring that each step you take aligns with your aspirations. The path becomes more defined and success becomes more achievable, because you don't have all those different variables. You don't have all those distractions because you know uh, you went through them. So um, it it empowers you to make proactive change, and that's the thing that oh, keep messing with this microphone, I'm like fidgety. Uh, so understanding what you don't want to do empowers you to make proactive changes, and this is where people get stuck because they don't want to make the change because they're comfortable and they're convenient. So you kind of have to let that go. So instead of waiting for circumstances to improve, actively eliminate factors that hinder your progress, whether it be your professional, personal, or professional career, personal relationships, or lifestyle. If there are factors that are hindering you from being better, then remove them. Like you don't even have to change the behavior, just remove the behavior. Like you don't have to go from one doing one thing to doing another thing. You just stop doing that one thing that you know is contributing to you not being where you are. And then by removing that, you're going to end up filling it with something, but you don't have to fill it with something right away. But doing that, it shifts the mindset and fosters a proactive and growth oriented approach to life. Oh. All right. So around and back out. So the journey towards success is illuminated not only by our goals, but also by our non desires. These aspects provide valuable insight that help you carve a purposeful path. By acknowledging what you don't want, you're taking a significant step towards creating the life you envision, one that is aligned with your values, aspirations, and potential. So, if you're ready to embark on a transformative journey of self discovery and goal setting, embrace it. Embrace the power of non desires. You hone in on what you wish to avoid. You simultaneously pave the way for what you truly desire. The road to success is forged by those who have the courage to explore their fears, hopes, and most importantly, their desires and non desires. So go out there, figure out what you want by knowing what you don't want. And that's all I got for today. So thanks for listening and see you on the next one.